Listo? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Feedback. I have an artist here in the studio. His name is Juan Franco. How are you, Juan?
Good.
Yeah, happy?
Yeah, I love being called an artist, actually.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, don't be too humble, bro. This shit's pretty sick.
Thank you.
How old are you, dude?
35.
35. What are you doing with your life at 35?
Right now I'm working as a mechanic, spending time with my family,
There you go.
enjoying life.
Now, we're currently in San Diego, California. Where'd you grow up, dude?
I was born in Oceanside, so near San Diego, North County, and then about like kindergarten, first grade, moved to Chicago and
Chi-town.
raised out there.
Yeah. Did you like it out there?
Oh, I loved it out there.
You like it better than California?
I'm kind of torn. I've always been like both.
Yeah.
Because like I've always come back and visit and whatnot. But definitely I would say like most of my adult life was out there. So it's like I would prefer it out
Your
there.
roots are there.
Yeah.
So do you feel that living out there gave you like an edge for some of the things that you do?
Like
in terms of
art?
artistry, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Your school was there?
Yeah.
The art school
yeah,
of
for
Chi-town?
Sure. Mm-hmm. The Art
exciting.
Institute of Chicago.
So since people don't know you, and yes, you are an artist, and if for everyone, since they don't know, Juan is who designed and did all the graffiti on the walls for the studio. We had an idea a while ago. I was like, dude, what about feedback? And you're like, let me just throw something on the wall. Mm-hmm. And what an amazing job you did. Dude, this shit looks awesome. I know you're like, oh, it's been a long time. How long is the last time that you did like graffiti art?
From this, it would have to be at least like 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
A decade.
Easily.
What were you doing in Chicago when you were doing this regularly?
You want the PC version or just...
No, we want reality, dude.
Okay, well, probably I was working part-time jobs, but most of my late teens to early 20s, I was selling drugs and just, living life and doing graffiti. And
is that the graffiti lifestyle? Do you feel like it incorporates?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's attached to the criminal.
Do you find sober, straight-edge graffiti artists?
Yeah. There's definitely artists that are all into all kinds of walks of life. So.
Is there a legal place in the world that you could do graffiti?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of places. Well, I can't speak too much for San Diego County because I'm pretty much new to the area, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But for sure, Chicago has plenty of like permission walls that are quote unquote permission. So it's not like legal, but it's not illegal. It's like a gray area.
Yeah.
And it's just a known thing. Like you can go here and paint and no one's going to bother you. No one's going to mess with you.
And is the whole town filled?
There's different spots throughout. So yeah.
Well, I just went to a Laker game and there was like an entire building.
Oh yeah. That's definitely not with permission.
Okay. So I was going to say the entire building.
Yeah.
I was going to say the word tag, but you had told me before we don't say tag, right? Why is that?
Well, graffiti kind of has its own little subcultures within itself. So I would say tagging is kind of like the roots. It's like a marker or a spray paint can. And you're just doing a simple tag or a signature, if you will.
Oh, okay.
So that would be considered a tag. And then there's like bombs is what they call them, which would be like a little throwy, like a little bubble letter.
Okay.
Like something more simple.
Bomb.
Yeah, like just bombing, like hey, let's go bombing. Let's
go
painting. And it'd be just let's fuck shit up,
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just like two colors, light color for fill in, dark color outline.
So most of the time you're doing this at night?
Yes.
Is that hard? Is that hard to... like see your colors, or are you lit up? I mean,
no, we definitely don't.
It's in the dark.
Yeah, you definitely want to.
Damn.
Not draw attention to anything.
Sure.
So, but I've noticed throughout the years, what my experience is. I think subway tunnels would be the hardest because they still use like the old lighting, like the old
like amber on the side.
It
looks like
it. So when you're in the tunnels painting or whatever, which is what we would do in Chicago. It has like a yellow overcast over everything. So you'll sit there and you'll paint your whole piece and you're blending two really light colors, a light purple, a lilac or something, and a pink. And you just get lost in between the two. You don't like your eyes kind of just mesh the two. Once you step back and take a picture, you're like, oh, now I see the colors,
you take the picture. I was going to say maybe you go for like a nice stroll in the morning and just happen to walk by and go see what's going on.
Ideally, I wasn't an artist who like documented a lot of my work. All my friends definitely did. It was like, let's go get pictures. Obviously, once you're done, because you don't know if it's gonna last till the morning.
Oh, right.
So a lot of times we're painting, 2, 3 in the morning and whatnot, and then you'll wake up 7 o'clock, go ride the train, try to watch your piece, and then the city workers have already gone over it, so you didn't get a
because it was so common there.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in San Diego, it's rare that they're rolling walls over.
Oh, no. Chicago has a system in effect. It's called the buff. So they'll buff out whatever you paint. So it's like
acetone or something?
No, it's like the ugliest shade of brown. And they decided we're going to paint the whole town with brown. So any graffiti gets done in Chicago, it gets covered by an ugly brown color.
It's a dark brown?
Yeah, it's one, probably closer to the lowest tone on the wall right
That's
there.
a cool background. You do that. New canvas.
Yeah, except for us, it's kind of played because all the walls are brown, like literally. So it's like no one really uses that color for that. I would imagine for that reason.
Right. So do you catch a big fine or you go to jail for doing that?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your age.
Multiple offender, obviously. Yeah. They're like, dude, we told you.
Oh, yeah. For sure, if I get caught for graffiti, it's straight to jail.
Really?
Yeah. They're not.
You have a rap sheet for graffiti from Chicago?
I have a story to tell. Oh, like definitely.
Do tell.
Okay, so I grew up in a town called Cicero. Okay. Which is mostly known for Al Capone in those days.
Yeah.
That's where he had all his underground tunnels and would bootleg all the liquor to Chicago. A lot of those tunnels are still there. Nice. Like you can buy a house and they'll be like, yeah, just so you know, there's a booze tunnel in your house.
Yeah. You're like, lower the price.
Yeah. I don't want that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so getting back to it, I think spaced.
The story. What's the story? Because remember,
so
Juan can't get caught.
I kind of don't want to
painting.
Yeah.
Do you not want to talk about it?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
I just kind of catch myself for a sec. But so when I was 17, that's probably like the height of my career for graffiti. Mm-hmm. I wasn't the best artist. I was definitely whack as fuck. But it was when I was the most active. Like,
I have to ask a question before the story. When you're doing this at 17, are there older kids that are just really good and you're like watching this and you're inspired by it? Or what?
Was it like for me started around 8th grade, I would say.
Okay.
And it was just tagging. It was like, no, I actually was really bad at drawing.
Really?
Yeah. So
I've seen some of your art.
I think my artistic ability came from graffiti more than the other way around.
It was that first.
Yeah. So I was always, I guess, artsy, you could say, because I had like poetry, music, and all that kind of stuff. But I think graffiti, I just kind of like gravitated towards it. I had an older cousin who lived in Mexico, and like their style of tagging is a whole different style.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, he had moved in with us for a little while and was like, oh, you want to get into this?
Yeah.
Check this out. And I was like, whoa. Like,
because we're comparing works and they were different?
He was way more advanced than I was at the time. So I was just like, it blew my mind. I was like, I want to get that good,
So is it just better at a certain style or is it completely different styles?
Graffiti, I think everybody has their own styles. So it's like, right now, lately, as in like modern times, I've been noticing a lot of what, quote unquote anti-style. So it's like, I would say that piece back there, it's pretty like, I would say unique to my style.
Yeah.
And like a lot of artists are kind of doing more like punk rock kind of like cover for artists.
Like block letters?
Block letters or like more jagged edges. Okay. Like a Metallica poster, you can see that. Yeah. It's kind of like more towards...
Is it more legible?
I would say, yeah.
Because definitely. I know a lot of like, the stuff I grew up seeing, it always caught my eye, which is why... When it's like, dude, we're going to have a podcast room. Juan, I know you can do this. Can you please do this?
Yeah, definitely.
You couldn't read what the hell they're saying. Most of the time it's very difficult to read like what do they call it? What
like the wild
their name or whatever.
Yeah, tag name.
Tag name.
Yeah.
And I also heard you say that it's not street art. It's graffiti writing. What did you say?
So there's like I said, graffiti has a lot of subcultures.
Yeah.
So you can be the best tagger, let's just say. And that just means you just wrote your name everywhere in the city. You got every spot. Someone goes to like, Chula Vista.
It's a noticeable.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I seen Juan's work there. And then they go all the way to LA and they're like, I seen Juan's work there. Like, and it could be just a simple tag. You can be recognized for that. And then
as far tag, I'm getting it. Yeah.
So then if you do like more stylized pieces or whatnot, it goes like there's levels and stuff to like rules, I guess. Like, you can't go over a wild style or illegible piece with a tag because that's just disrespect,
sure.
And things like that. But I consider myself a graffiti writer, not an artist, just because I think like an artist would be someone who paints murals, who makes a living off of it, canvases, and not that we're not able to do that, but
you don't have to make money.
No,
to
it's not
be
the money.
Artist.
It's not the money per se, but as opposed to more like a
labeling.
A graffiti artist would be someone who does graffiti, who focuses solely on graffiti, and maybe murals is just a way to pay the bills and whatnot.
Got it.
So
like dude that was outside and did all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of what he does. He calls himself a muralist, but most of his stuff is graffiti.
Yeah, graffiti style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to go back. Sorry, because I got you off track. So you're 17, your cousin from Mexico moved in. You're comparing styles. He's got like a next level, and then he brings you along?
Yeah, I went to Mexico for a summer and just
did it
ran
there?
amok. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had so much fun. And just
at 17?
No, this was in 8th grade when my cousin.
Okay.
At 17 is when my journey began.
The art journey.
Yes. So at 17, I was doing a lot of tagging in the small town that I was from, which is neighboring Chicago. It's literally you cross a major street and you're in Chicago. You cross back and you're in a little suburb. So I did a lot of storefront windows with this acid bath that it penetrates glass windows.
Oh shit.
Mostly storefronts, and I don't know if you know, but storefront windows are expensive.
Yeah.
So most of them averaged about $5,000 a pop. It takes $1,000 to be a felony charge.
Yeah. So
they caught me in the act, drove me around the town, and documented every single tag that was identical to it.
Dang.
So they said, okay, well, we know that's your tag name. That's unique, your marker unique to you.
Sure.
You know, which
they had a way to get people.
Yeah, I obviously didn't agree and say, it was me, but they were like, we recognize the same thing over here. So they went to every single storefront they found in the town. It added up to 63 windows.
Oh, no.
yes. There wasn't no.
That's called catching a case.
Yes. So it was 63 windows. They had to go the way graffiti criminal charges work is the owner of the property has to file the charge.
Sure.
They can't. Literally the state can't just be like, oh well, this is graffitied on, and we're charging you for it.
Well, in a place that there's a lot of that going on, are business owners going like, "You did a wrong thing, but clean my window." Wait.
It burns through the window.
It's on.
Never coming off the windows.
Damn, there's your new window.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It's automatic. you owe me
all right,
5,000.
so why not brick walls and stuff? Why the window? Because you're like making a statement?
The acid bath is permanent. So like I told you, we're dealing with a city where your graffiti is temporary. So it's you know, it's not going to last.
And the race was like who can keep their art out there longest? Mm-hmm. That was a thing?
Ideally, that's what you would
Would want. You compare with other people like, oh, my shit's on there for 6 months or what?
No, I don't think it's the time so much, but it's just like, you already got that part of the city. You don't have to go there too much and focus and take care of that part. Ideally for us and the crew that I was with and whatnot, it was let's take over the whole city. You know, like when you see graffiti in Chicago, it needs to be associated with us.
Dang, big vision.
Yeah, definitely.
You think big. That's not a bad thing. It's
Definitely
just
not.
the bad thing was that you were ruining people's businesses.
Yeah. So going back to that, they got out of 63 windows, they got 13 people to press charges, which is looking better, 13 felonies instead of 63 looks a little better.
You're like 60 grand of class, right?
Yeah, around.
Oh man.
Yeah, so then there's that, and then throughout the case, I got sent to the county jail, to Cook County. I was there for about a week. My dad bailed me out, signed that money over to the lawyer, and we're just going through the motions of the case.
Okay.
And throughout the case, it got reduced. I think like 7 people still stuck to it. Like, we do want to get this kid, make an example out of them.
Sure.
Which I understand,
Were you the only one that got caught?
I was the only one who did it, yeah. So
because it was your name. And
it was
you got
my
caught
name
in the act.
In the act.
You were in front of a window, and then a cop rolled up?
And literally hit the corner. I was on the corner of the block, and he came this way. So as soon as I pulled my hand away from the glass, I turned and I seen the cop door shutting already. He's getting out the car to come get me. So I couldn't be it wasn't me.
Yeah. Want to see in the culture? It wasn't me.
Exactly.
Not going to work, dude.
It didn't work.
So did you have to go to jail for that?
I went to jail. Like I said, I got bailed out. I was in Cook County jail at 17, which is, I don't know how. This shouldn't happen.
It's an adult jail.
18 and
okay.
up. So I should have been sent to juvenile, but it was in between.
Yeah.
I got bailed out before it was a little, before they found out, I guess, or whatnot. everybody in there was like, you don't belong here, bro. You're too young, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're
Let me ask you this. When you
were
were in there and then you said what you did anyone know your work?
No,
nobody knew because they've been in there for a minute.
Yeah, probably. I actually did run into some people from like the south side of Chicago who were like, "Hey, like somebody tagged on my car who had like a old school like Chevy on rims and stuff, like clean $5,000 paint job." You know? It was like someone tagged on my car. Was that you?
Oh yeah. So now you're the fall guy for all the
for
people.
every different you know. So I was just like,
it's Franco. Dude.
No, it wasn't me. And he was like, "All right," and then we ended up being friends, whatever. But it's just funny. Like,
so
people
did you have
don't
to pay
know about
restitution for all this?
No, I ended up pleading out to what my lawyer had said. It was going to be three charges, and it was going to be like a boot camp program that the Cook County offers. So it's the alternative to prison. So they don't want to send people to prison.
Yeah.
And did that, signed up for that. And on the day of, the state's attorney was like, no, like we'll take that deal, but he needs to plea out for all 5. And I was like, you know, I had money saved up.
What is that? Why do they need that? They're just like, because we just need
more
to close
convictions.
the case. Yeah.
They just want more convictions. They're like, we got results for 5 instead of 3, you know? So pretty much that's what happened. It's a 4-month program. So the way my lawyer had supposedly set it up, he said, you're going to go in, turn yourself in October 1st to court, whatever. The next program, because they pull you out from the Cook County jail. So they say you're going to be in there for about 15 days. The next time they pull a batch, because you're a platoon, like it's legit a boot camp. So, you know, they're like, it's going to be about 30 to 60 individuals. And, you know, like it's a waiting list to get into that. So you need a good lawyer who's going to be like, my client's not going to sit there for 4 months for a 4-month program. Because that's just that time too. Like it doesn't count for anything. So I was supposed to turn myself in the first, and
I was going to.
No, I did, but I was supposed to leave to boot camp on the 15th, and then that got pushed back like a month and a half. So I didn't end up till boot camp till like late November, early December. So I did 2 months in the county jail, way on top of the freaking week that I had already before.
What was the craziest shit that happened to you in that 2 months of jail? Anything?
Well,
anything crazy?
Honestly,
give me the top. What's the craziest one?
Well,
anything?
Going towards the future, I met a lot of people in there, and like I told you I started selling drugs. And I met my partner there, and it was just like we clicked. I was really like to myself, you know, like wasn't messing with nobody. I didn't gangbang, so I wasn't like the hard dude on the block, you know. So,
but that is the system, right?
Well,
being around a bunch of people that
are
opportunists that might not have a bad head on their shoulders. They're just in the thing, and now now they're like, hey, what's the future now? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was just working out. Everybody knew what I was there for, and we're like, oh, he's going to boot camp soon.
Were you drawing in jail?
Just letters and stuff. At that point, I still wasn't good at drawing, or what I consider good at drawing. Yeah.
So all right. So you're, let's say 18 now. 18, and you're done with the program. You're still in Chicago, and then you're done with that. Is it like, no, I'm not going to do graffiti anymore? Or is all I think about graffiti?
I did have like an epiphany moment, and because it was camp, and they were like, dude, like you just did this boot camp. It seemed like it was cake for you. Like all the instructors there were active military. So they were all, and it was like post 9/11. It was like 2009. So we were still kind of in the Middle East. Yeah. So a lot of those dudes would get pulled out, and they would get paid like wartime pay plus pay here and all this stuff. Yeah. So they were like, dude, like it's not too late to turn your life around. Yeah. Like join the military. Like they were like putting me on game on how to get like better benefits. Like don't just sign up with any recruiter. Like, you know, like do this, do that, and you'll get more money back.
They were being genuine.
Yeah, genuine for sure. And then so I was considering like, hey, I should join the military, you know, like. And then I always thought I'll join the Marines, go to Camp Pendleton. I know Oceanside already. It'll be cake. You know?
Got it.
So I always had that connection. Sure. I was like, that'll be an easy transition for me. I live with my family because most of my family's out here in California. Okay. And so I was heavily considering that, but graffiti was never going away. Yeah. So it was just like, I'll do the right thing and then come back and just do some more graffiti. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere.
So there's no mediums, there's no like large enough construction paper that you can take to a fucking wall and get after it? Or is it is the art to do it for in me, an inconspicuous place? Is it because it's quick art and it's like you're on edge? Like
the adrenaline rush is definitely a factor. It's for me, it is the illegal factor. That's what would separate a street artist from a graffiti writer. Would be the illegality. So it's like the more your work is illegal is like kind of like a respect, like a tip of the hat. You know, it's It's like you're risking your life.
Because in California, dog, you're driving on the freeway and you're driving an overpass, and like the thing that's hanging off that tells you what exit is next is, and I'm like, someone hung off that.
Plenty
shit
of those.
I've
done gnarly shit in my life. I've done billboards like crazy. Like
I've climbed up the billboard.
I've been on billboards, and
billboards have ladders on the big pole.
Yeah.
And you just and it's available, or you have to jump.
Oh, you have to get to it. It's not as easy.
Okay.
Some of them are easier, but like some of them. There's one in particular that was just like, it was my go-to. Like I was one of the only people that would go to that one.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get to it that's why everybody else would like stay away from it.
Got it.
And, but yeah, like definitely illegal work is the money in terms of graffiti.
Sure. So at what age did you come to California? Back again after this was like, when did you return?
About 27, 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stayed in Chicago for a while. Mm-hmm. What did you do there?
Well,
what did you do for work? Really? You just ran that the whole time?
Probably till I was about like 25. I caught a case then.
Oh no!
So someone snitched on me and whatnot, and by the grace of God, literally, like I was in deep with some pretty good people, where I was close enough to almost catch a RICO case, and like just the way I conducted myself just saved me. Like I've read paperwork where they're like, I'm telling my homie like, hey, like, you are supposed to have taught me these rules. Like, stay off the phone, bro. Like, we'll talk about it. I'm gonna go see you. And then we read like the transcripts later, and it's like a known person saying that, and it's like he knew it was me, I knew it was him. So it's like we were being watched already. And so
crazy. You were big time, Juan. That feels big time to me.
Close enough to.
Well, I mean, to be observed in that way.
For me, it was.
They were spending their time looking at you.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I trust this man with my life. Like, he's a very loyal person and a really good human being. So we're talking about some gnarly shit, but you know,
I mean, those guys that I was doing business with, they know I didn't say any shit, and I'm good with them. So that's all that matters.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. All right. Well, hey, okay. So I had a couple questions for you in terms of the idea of this, because I mean, I see it everywhere. There's people I've met a lot of people that do this, you know, I guess I didn't really associate like, the fun in this is to go out tonight at a late time, find somewhere that is, you know, the sketchiest place you possibly can to be seen, and then quickly do large, full motion art.
Yes.
Like that's fun, right? Like to be in that.
It consumes your whole
line,
body.
like at a paintbrush or like acrylics, dude. You know, it's nothing like, here's my line, and you're using your entire body. It's
definitely.
Do you feel exhausted after it's done? Because I've seen you. I saw you get down on this, and you just like you're focused and you're like going.
Yeah, I just zone out. I mean, personally, I don't know if everyone does that, but whenever I'm doing like my piece, I'll zone out. I'll take, and then when it was illegal, it was like, oh, I've noticed like an internal clock, you know, like a minute's passed. Let me take a step back, look around, make sure I'm not, you know, no one's gonna roll up on me, and then get back to it, you know.
Yeah.
So it just kind of comes naturally, and you learn that like throughout time, through experience, and you learn like. In graffiti, you paint with other people and whatever. You know, the more the merrier. So
that's fun.
You know, you have more lookouts, more.
Yeah,
eyes,
exactly.
You know, so
more people going opposite directions when the lights turn on.
Yeah, exactly. We're just scattered.
Yeah,
but so it's like you'll catch on really quick, like who's experienced, who's not, as far as like who's looking out, like
who's sweating.
Not necessarily that they're nervous, but it's like if you're just painting all carelessly, it's like okay, you don't have a criminal record that you have to protect, or like you're getting a slap on the wrist, you know, and like, or you're a minor and your mom's just gonna
if something
pick you
goes
up.
down, will you get caught, please?
Like I'm running this way, you run that way.
Yeah. So I have a question about how do you practice? Like, do you practice? Because there's like.
I would say
over here is awesome. I love all of this, and there's design elements in this. There's like you decided to like I saw you put like background, and then you like lowered, and then it was like over here was like lettering, and then it was then you put like stars, squares, leaves, like you know what I mean. Like you put like these artistic elements on there to like fill the space. Are you practicing these letters like on a journal or?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're doing this with a pen or pencil or journal?
Pencil for the most part. Yeah. So we call them black books. It's just a sketchbook.
Yeah,
they're all usually black covers.
For the
black
graffiti.
Yeah, so it's just your black book would be like I was never. See, this is the thing. I know the rules and whatnot, but I wasn't the typical graffiti artist because I had a black book that was all like half finished pieces. In my mind, I know what I'm going to do. I just need the lettering down. If I can get these lines in the shape and form that I want them.
Yeah.
And all the colors and all the little stuff that, like, for me, just tricks the eye and makes it look prettier.
Yeah.
It's like I have all that part. I have the technique. Cool. So for my...
Yeah, but how did you get to that part? Like, how did you get confident in that?
Painting a lot. Literally most of my experience.
Well, when we bought all this paint for this, you're like, yeah, that's cool. You got spray cans, but like we need heads.
Yeah.
When did caps. You like that? Is that the caps?
Yeah.
Is that like common knowledge and this stuff? Like you need that to have a straight line? Because I saw the different spray, and then it's like, you know,
the spray pattern, it affects it. So like the stock ones that come on your Home Depot cans, like they're a little more rough around the edges. So you get a lot of overspray, a lot of back spatter. And then
do people teach you this stuff?
Yes.
Or if you just start doing it, you just start learning.
It's a little bit of both. So I was right in the middle of like when I guess you could say like internet started taking off. And so people started promoting stuff. So a lot of information became common knowledge that wasn't. And I was right in the transition.
Yeah. The research.
Yeah, exactly. So
find out anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So pretty much like when I would say 2 years or like the years right before it was you have to know somebody and they put you on and you start learning from your peers and whatnot.
Oh.
And then...
Oh, is there like a turf thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say it's people like turf per se, but it's graffiti is just, it's just shy of gangbanging, you know? Like, literally there's people who are quote unquote tag bangers, so they're like a set.
Some kids like, dude, I really like something to try, and they go hit a wall, and then like I don't know, some dudes roll up, and they're like, "This is
my wall.
Shouldn't be here."
Yeah, I've been shot at, like all kinds of stuff.
Go.
Like,
all for the art.
Yeah,
Juan.
definitely.
Let's go.
And I was like, I'm coming back tomorrow.
So, what do you? Why do you think you took that break? You didn't do it. It was because of the
break, for
the
sure.
risk.
It's a lot.
Well, you moved
of factors
here.
Yeah. So, in those years towards the late,
and you were, I don't know, a more responsible older adult, and you're like, maybe I don't do this right now. Maybe keep my life on a straighter edge, or what?
Yeah, my life was kind of spiraling on a downward spiral, and like I've never been into heavy drugs or anything like that, but it was just like I was in a long-term relationship, and it was going bad. My dad I found out he had cirrhosis of the liver, so it escalated really fast. So it was more take care of him. And then just the case that I had just finished, I ended up getting probation for the drug case. So it was like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
And which was sick. I had Joe Lopez, who's been on Chicago PD. He was a lawyer on the show and was my lawyer actively, which is funny. He's like,
and you knew that before?
Did
you find that out later?
I went to go
make a payment. Like, that's my lawyer.
I went to make a payment, and his wife was like one of his paralegals or something, or another lawyer with him, and was like, yeah, like this guy's famous, like just joking, teasing him. And then they're like, yeah, you watch Chicago PD? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, well, he's done one of the shows. And I was like, cool, like a lawyer playing a lawyer.
Yeah.
But he was a really big shot lawyer. I know for sure when he...
And he happened to help you.
Yeah. I did mean, you know, to spend all your savings.
It was expensive.
I feel like I got a deal, but he was an expensive lawyer for sure. Like well-known lawyer in Chicago. So yeah, I'm surprised he took my case. Like that would have been like scraps for him, and I guess maybe he just felt bad and was like, yeah, this kid don't deserve too much. I'll help him out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you're a good person, man. It comes across. You know what I mean? I think that your aura comes across. Like you're a genuine person. You know, now that I've known you for a couple of years now, it's like there's like loyalty there. Like you feel, you know, I feel comfortable talking to you about stuff. So,
yeah, thank you.
But I want to know, like, do you have an artistic goal for the next year?
I want to start painting a lot more.
Yeah.
I was talking.
Dog, how do I keep you out of jail though?
Yeah. So I was thinking about. I've been noticing a lot of murals popping up here, and I was like, well, I mean, it could be easy for me, not necessarily like I want to do a bunch of murals, but to get a bunch of little kids like to paint and like have the city put, you know, like give a grant or something and just buy a bunch of paint and like let kids develop this skill, you know, and it doesn't have to be illegal.
Oh, bro, what if you did a class?
Yeah, something like that, you know.
Is it too big of work to do on electrical boxes? Because cities let you paint electrical boxes.
I have noticed that. I didn't know.
You do a class, you teach the kids how to do letters on the thing. But hey, So then there's a moral question here. Are you teaching them to go out at night and do illegal tags?
I wouldn't, no.
No, I mean, like, but are you like sparking that?
Sparking that interest. You know, that's, I've always struggled with that.
Someone's like, how do they get it on the thing? And you're like, oh, I don't know. You know, it's like, no, them and their boys go out at 2 a.m.
I'm not gonna give them the game and like, here, bro, this is how you get away with it.
No, but I think, well, because it's cool, dude. Like there's like an edge to it, you know? It's not like anything else that you see. It's like very obviously graffiti. Oh, that looks like graffiti. And I think there was like a negative connotation when I was like really young about it. But I don't know. I was always into like hip hop, you know, and it was always like background for things, you know. And I see a lot of podcasts now, and they have like a very nice, you know, like light gray with a shelf with like a beautiful succulent and like their favorite books. Dude, I'm like, tag this place and let's look the back. Look,
Everybody's into simple
graffiti
modern now.
This
That's
place.
what it is, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Simple modern. Yeah. Which is cool. There's like an edge to that.
I like that too.
Like fancy, the new homes and, you know, this look cool.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like in its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're kind of like classifying certain, you know, like genres. When
I've always liked like controlled chaos, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe this piece behind you, I would have liked.
I love this piece.
I have like to just.
That's why I sit over here.
Tape the corners around it, and so kind of like just paint it over thing, and then just peel the tape so it would have clean lines background. Yeah. So it'd be like it would almost look like framed.
Like a border.
Yeah. So it'd be like, oh, you know, there was chaos. Like almost if you like peeled back some of the wall, and you're like, oh, the graffiti was behind there.
I wonder if you could do it with like plywood. Is plywood crappy to paint on?
Yeah, because it absorbs all the.
Yeah. So you need brick.
Yeah, well, like this brick right here definitely absorbed a lot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This one took a lot.
Yeah, you're like cans, dog.
But I mean, you learn that, you know, throughout the years of painting, and you're like, you already know what's gonna like absorb.
So what's best, drywall and paint?
Drywall is actually really hard because it drips so much. Oh, so like an inexperienced.
What is like the ideal surface
for me, or
in general,
or for graffiti? Well, because
for you,
for me, it's different because I once I evolved in graffiti, it became strictly painting what we call clean trains, which would be commuter trains.
Okay.
So I'm sure like your viewers have noticed freight trains with graffiti, you know, like
most
down the
people
track.
in San Diego have gone to the desert and you drive by and they're all just cruising.
Yeah. And those freight trains, you know, they're cool too for the art and whatnot. But for us, that's like, or for me, I should stop saying us.
Yeah.
But for me, that's like cake work. That's like where you practice. Those freights would be the practice. And then
less risk because you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and no one's gonna roll up on you.
In the desert, there's a lot of abandoned buildings, and bro, they're full.
Yeah,
it's like wonderful picture places. Did you roll up and you'll see them? You know, it's like the burnt building, and it's like that back wall, and it'll just be beautiful colors.
Yeah. And I like the juxtaposition where it's just like desert, you know, it's like sand, everything, and then just a splash of colors, like just, like pops.
An oasis.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to come up with an idea where we can do it legally and teach people.
That
you know what I mean? Like what? So it's like, what kind of surface could you just like re-put on?
I would say brick would be just like your average brick,
and then so you'd have to paint over it.
Or we could do like a roller with like the background, and then that would be the foundation, so it wouldn't absorb as much paint. So it's like it would
a gloss or something.
Yeah. Or just any paint, just as long as it has like a paint it already absorbed, the rest will adhere easily.
Because I'm wondering, like, if you could, because it's fun. Well, okay, it's gonna be less fun if it's legal.
For me, yes.
Yeah. Because it takes away, but you're also going back to like your youth, dude. The like scary things that you do in your youth. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble. Like you're bringing that in, But I don't know, that kind of spark. I mean, you might put something down that's like way more artistic in that realm as opposed to, well, what am I gonna do? Let's just bring out the spray paint cans legally on some. But I was thinking like, what if they put a brick wall at the back of like a parking lot and it was like an art wall for people, and then like you know you could have someone teach.
Yeah.
You know, and fill that art wall. But it would, I mean, it just wouldn't be as fun.
Personally.
Yeah.
It would though, because I feel like you need.
But what if you could transform, like, I'm going to take the risk that potentially can put me in jail, you know, or get hurt, you know, falling off the thing that you're hanging on, or get shot because you're not supposed to be doing this here.
Just set up a CrossFit course to get to the wall. And then that describes it perfectly.
There you go.
That's
perfect. Like a mud run, and then you do.
You gotta roll the freaking tire, and then you know, like do the little.
So that brings up a question I have for you. Do you think that artists have, like, artists in general, people that do art, like, do you think that they have a specific type of personality?
No, I've met so many different types of people through graffiti that I'm like, graffiti, it's like, it draws all walks of life. For sure. Like, people who, I mean, I feel like we identify people mostly based off music, you know, like a little rocker kid, or, you know,
that's right.
Head, you know,
like, growing up, I used to wear baggy clothes and we'd skateboard. And your style's hip hop.
Exactly.
And I was like, I love Limp Bizkit. So, sorry guys.
Right?
Did someone show me Wu-Tang?
The backwards hat. Did you have the little stud freaking collar?
Yes, I did.
I did too, though.
Yes,
we all had to have it.
Big bands. I had the red hat for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved it. Because I wanted to talk to you because we have a lot of conversations about like spirituality and like personalities and like, you know, just kind of observing people.
Yeah.
So one time we were talking to someone and you brought up that you are an empath. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
I consider myself an empath. That's like a self-diagnose, you know? I feel like I'm in tune to other people's energy.
Yeah.
I definitely, I mean, without going too straight, like I've never been a bitch with anybody.
Yeah.
But if I see that you're like have an aggressive nature towards you when there's uncalled for, like I know to distance myself, you know, because it's going to create...
You're picking it up.
Yeah, you can pick that up. And towards people's feelings and emotions, I've always been a good listener and stuff like that. And like, I've met strangers and had like crazy conversations that like people wouldn't even open up with their, you know, closest family members.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did that happen? And just...
You felt comfortable doing that, or you created an atmosphere where they felt comfortable doing that?
I think it's a subconscious thing for me because I wasn't like intentionally trying to draw something out of them. I was just like,
what's up?
I'm having a conversation, and it just naturally transpires into some like deep, meaningful conversation. And I'm like, oh, like it happens so much that it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm an empath, you know, like some people feel comfortable telling me these things and sharing these secrets that they know I'm not going to tell anybody.
Yeah. I've gathered that from you where I don't feel like at risk for telling you things, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like the world's in like a deep soul sickness right now. And so the whole thing with this podcast is like, I really want to bring out all artists and all types of, you know, different mediums. I want to bring him here and I want to talk about it. Yeah. And I want to talk about, dog, you like the risk, you like the late night, you like tagging something quickly, maybe potentially in a place that's not legal to do so or whatever. I don't know, that spark, that's like, you've seen that guy that does it in England?
Oh, Banksy?
Banksy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's murals, whatever. And it's normally, but it's like stencils.
Yeah.
He's like stenciling, but there's like a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah. Well,
dude, and they're saying that he's one of the most like prolific artists that are like
of
out.
Our generation. Yeah.
Yeah. And because he's putting so much meaning behind it and it's just popping up different places. And then like the community's like going out on scavenger hunts to like find the stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, what happened there was like
that's illegal though, right?
Definitely.
So if he gets caught, that's catching a case.
Props to Banksy because he bridged the gap, I would say, because it's like that would be considered street art, not graffiti.
Yeah.
But he's in England, you know, I'm pretty sure it was like London where he first started out.
Yeah.
CCTV everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like he's popping up with stencils and like just spraying.
I feel like that's kind of burnt. Like you
can't... exactly. And he managed to get away with it for years and years.
Which is like a different aspect
which
of
is
art.
the anonymity, which it's its own conundrum within graffiti, which I would like to discuss just because I still to this day can't answer the question, which is why we do it. You know, like why do we gravitate towards graffiti? Because you come up with the nickname to retain some anonymity. You're not going out and writing your last name if not you'd be caught.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it's like an alter ego.
And you're putting it in places where it's prolific, where it's going to be known and recognized by the regular person, everyday Joe driving to work. So you want it to be recognized and seen by everybody, but you don't want it to be seen at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so I know a lot of graffiti artists who only take pictures of their work. So like they won't last. Like nobody else will know that they've even painted. And they'll just sit on their little postcards and have stacks and stacks of pictures.
It's just like a memory of that feeling, of that rush.
And those
kind
of artists.
Same reason on a dirt bike and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I could have died. It was fun.
But it was fun. Yeah, exactly.
I just don't want you to go to jail anymore. And I want you to continue the art. And I don't want it to be like less passionate for you just because you're like, I'm just doing this brick.
It's not so much. It's just like, I feel like it's my own, like, I've doctrinated myself that it's like, if it's not illegal, it doesn't count, you know?
Oh, really?
So it's like, yeah, so it's, I already have that in my head.
Well, what if you like changed your mindset and made it a game of how good you're going to become at it? You know, like, well, there could be a night where you just go run out and break bad, dude.
May
but like,
not happen.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it may or may never ever again happen. Who knows? But like if you're fine tuning the craft, you know, it's still gotta be exciting.
Well, I think for me in my life, the illegal factor's gone. It's long gone.
Yeah.
Just because I'm back in California, it's new territory for me, which
would change your life. You got out of all the crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
which would have before been like, oh, it's somewhere new. That's where you want to go to graffiti.
Yeah.
And now I'm just close to my family.
They don't know me here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm so close to my family, and like I have young nieces, and I don't want to be that bad example. So
I know that about you, dude. You're always at their stuff, the games and the family and this.
And I've been trying to make it a
like,
priority.
what'd you do this weekend, dog? And you're like, I went to my niece's soccer game.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, but you have to go. It's pretty lit, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
I'll get loud too.
Yelling at the ref, bro. The whole time. We're the only people yelling.
I grew up playing soccer, dude.
Hell.
I get loud for sure. I'm definitely one of those loud parents. Something about art, though, especially for me, like, you know, like with music for me, because that's like my main thing, music. A lot of times I'll practice music, not for like the reason to like, what can I create, but more like, I just need a therapeutic break.
Okay.
Like, do you feel that way at all when you're
that
doing
would be
this?
My black book or my sketch. Like,
oh, okay.
Like,
you're doing that.
Yeah, that would be like just playing like a same riff that you already know. It's like you're familiar with, and you're just like, all right, trying to tune it.
Well, that brings up something then.
Okay.
So, like, if you're full motion doing that, but there's no risk involved, it's just super less exciting. You know, because like, there's no therapy in doing that. Here, hit this wall up, dude, and you're boom, 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 and an hour later, you're like, look what I did. Like, I feel better now.
Definitely. I mean, every piece that you do, whether illegal or not, I feel like gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And also, for every artist knows, we're our own worst critic.
Yeah.
So it's like, at the same time, you're like, all right, I did this, but next time I need to fix that part.
Do you feel vulnerable showing people?
No.
No, that's good. That's strong.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, sometimes I show a song to someone and I'm just like, there's like this weird nervous feeling or whatever.
Well, I was going to touch
But if you got like your group of people that kind of are doing all of this and they already know how to identify that it was you, you know, and it's over in the night, like are you at all worried about how it looks to the other guys who are doing it? No.
Which I've noticed my work, I've done some of my best work illegally, like some like the best color schemes, the best style, like just the control, the actual skill and ability. And it's like, I just performed better under that pressure. So I'm sure, you know, with like riding dirt bikes, your body tenses up. Like, we don't describe those things, but you feel that tension in your body.
Yeah.
That's what you feel when you're doing it illegally. When you're climbing a billboard, it's fucking -20 outside, you know, and it's like the wind chill swaying that thing. And you're like, I don't know.
Do they move?
They move like crazy.
Well, in the Windy City.
I mean, yeah. But it doesn't look like if you're driving, you don't see it move.
Yeah.
But you're on there, you feel that thing sway. You're like, oh shit. Like, it's a scary feeling. And it's like like sewer grates. So it's when you're walking, you can look straight down.
Oh.
So it's like, it fucking scares the shit out of you every time.
Yeah.
And so every time I've painted a billboard, I've climbed up there. And I'll be up there, and I'm like, well, I haven't done nothing illegal yet besides the trash.
I'm just up here.
Just up here. And no one knows I'm up here because it's like you can't see a little tiny body, you know, like a mile off the freeway. And then I'm just like, all right, let me take a minute and gather myself because it's like, I'm not dying. Like every time I talk to somebody that I painted a billboard with, I was like, nobody's fucking dying here. Like, you know, like don't push your luck. Like this isn't that kind of spot. You know?
Yeah.
Let's get this done safely.
You ever know anybody that fell off a billboard?
Not personally. Well, a friend of mine fell that one billboard I was telling you that I would always was my go-to.
Oh, yeah,
that was difficult. Spot. So it's about at least a 20-foot drop just like to get to the ladder to climb up.
Yeah.
And he fucking fell from that 20-foot drop like flat on his back. And I was like, I hope this guy's okay. You know, we were young. We were teenagers, all of us. So I get down like from the billboard or freaking jump off. Yeah, he was good. Right. You know, just sore back, but not off the top and died. No.
Did he continue doing it after?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, dude, no, the rest was too good.
Let it heal and we'll be all right.
Yeah. So I just want everyone to know we're not advocating crimes. We're advocating art. So whatever that needs to be, in terms of, you know, what inspires you to do it. I mean, if a rush is inspiring you to do better work, get your rush, whatever, you know. Do I want people coming up to businesses and putting permanent work on the front that costs $5,000 for them? No. But I would love to brainstorm with people and be like, how do we... I don't know. Yeah, I like the idea of the course prior to doing the wall. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like,
because that's the only way you could replicate it, because your body's going to be tense. You're going to be physically strained.
Or what about putting like a ring of gasoline on the ground around you and lighting that bitch? Nah. Like something that's exciting or something.
It would. I mean, visually it might be cool, but I don't think it's scary. I'd be like, it's just a ring of fire.
Yeah.
I'm painting in the middle.
Or someone has to like shoot you with paintballs the whole time that you're doing that. You have to like move.
Yeah, something like that.
Something.
Like, all right, cool.
And then if you miss, then it goes on the wall and you have to do something with it.
Yeah, you have to cover the paintball.
So, personally, how important is artistic creation to you?
Very, but I think graffiti isn't my only form of art anymore. So art, I consider art to be subjective. We're all artists.
Yeah.
Like, we can all create art. Like, I think even drawing or whatnot, I hear a lot of people like, oh, I can't draw. It's like, that's a skill you develop. No one just gets a piece of paper, learns how to write their name. Like, you learn the shapes and you learn everything.
Yeah.
And you train your hand to do it. You know, it's consistency. It's a work ethic to it. It's just the art is what you want to put out there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like the skill is considered the art, but it's really like you're the art. It's what you're putting out. And that could be through music, that could be through drawing, that could be through anything. You know, some people, like I know friends who work on cars and it's an art, just the way they do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like there's some shit that's art that you just recognize, like, okay, they gave it that extra touch.
Yeah.
You know,
you're like, that's how you organize the parts that just came out of this car? Like, dang, dude.
It's an art, yeah. I mean,
like, everything. You ever spray paint?
I like to see the art in everything, or the beauty, you know. And
what was going to lead me to the next question, which you basically answered, is, you know, I know that you believe that you can create your own reality. Mm-hmm. You know, that each day with your decisions, you're creating what's happening in your life, you know, your vibrations and what decisions you make. You know, it's like creating the path that you're on. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, but you kind of said it, you think that everyone can create art?
Yeah.
Because out of these discussions and these performances that we're going to do in this room, I want to be like super inspirational and motivating, especially to people that just know that they can, but they're like worried or, you know, oh, I would never be like that. You know, I want to like get that fear out of them.
Yeah.
You know, so do you think that everyone can do it?
Yeah.
Same way that they can create their own reality. You can
manifest it and just put work into it, you know, like, because the thought's just a thought until you put action behind it. And I think for me, that was my, like, the push to learn how to draw a little better. Because everyone was like, oh, you do graffiti? Can you draw? Like, my girlfriend, like, can you paint her face? And I'm like, I don't draw, bro. Like, I suck, you know? Like, because like you said, I had the full body motion. If you gave me like a portrait, I'm almost I haven't done it, but I'm positive that I could have painted it. You know, just
have
having
you
the
done
technique.
any murals with projection?
Oh, yeah.
Is that so cool? Or is it
not for the graffiti? That's like pays the bills, you know. Like, I knew a lot of people that would get like do commission work and they'd get 20,000 to paint a mural on a building, and it was like
there's money
like by Nestle, Coca-Cola, like big companies. A lot of my friends painted Lollapalooza, like did light painting for stuff like that. So it's like, you know, little things that.
Well, I wonder if it would bring. I wonder if you could, if it created like a financial opportunity, if it like kind of brings some of the. You know, like you're like, I have to do this so I get paid. Yeah. It kind of brings a little risk into it too. And makes it a little more exciting. Like it better be pretty good.
Well, you know, I've always heard the expression, like, if you do what you love, it'll never feel like a work.
There you go. Yeah.
But I don't believe that. I feel like once it turns into work, it is work.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I can enjoy painting, but and whenever I'm inspired and whenever it naturally, you know, like comes out of me, then you're going to get the best result. But if you tell me, here's $5,000, I need this, and that, it kind of just like, it's constraining me, you know? And in a sense, even if I do put out a good, you know, product, for me, it's like, I know that's not the best I could have done. You might be content with it.
Sure.
You know, you paid for it and you're like, yeah, that's quality work. That's what I paid for. And thank you. And for me, I'd be like, oh man, I didn't feel like art. Like, I didn't feel like I was just hanging out, painting a mural and then got paid after, you know?
Yeah.
So it would, I don't know. Work is work, you know, and work has to be work.
Sure. Well, you know, I know that everybody that knows you doesn't want you to get in trouble or anything like that.
Yeah.
But everybody, you know, if Juan gets in trouble, put some money on his books,
Yeah,
okay?
please,
You know what I
please
mean?
Every dollar helps.
Keep him confident and comfortable while he's in there.
Or if you want to send $1 now, I can keep a lawyer on retainer.
Do you have any of your work online?
No.
Do you do it? Why not do the website? I mean, not you don't. You wouldn't post things that you. Some art that you did was like technically illegal.
A lot of people do.
Burnt,
yeah, there
right?
is like forums online and stuff where we like kind of exchange stuff or like.
Do you do that? Do you?
No, me
not anymore.
personally,
That's over.
No, even then, it was like for me, it was like if you don't see it in the street, it didn't happen. You know, like kind of thing.
Got it.
That was my rule. Like
it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I let my peers.
It's super exciting until you're like having to go to a program and
yeah.
You know that shit is just like ruin years of your life, and I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I bounced back from it. I had a car note at the time, and I was gone for 6 months, and I just gave
note. What does that mean?
Oh, car payment. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had like freaking 6 months like back pay. I gave my dad. I was like, here's 6 months worth of thing. Like I'm gonna be gone for a little while. You
Gotta
know?
go, pops.
Yeah. You know, like I took care of the responsibilities, and like that's at 17, bro. Like you know, like I was already like
sure.
You know, I put money on my own books. Like I worked like the time
well, you've been an old soul as long as I've known you.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, some of the stuff we talk about, which we didn't get to today, gets pretty deep, but that'll have to be for a second episode.
I'm down for a part 2.
So, how many episodes am I going to get to do until you're going to want to do the walls again? Because I know you already brought that up.
How many have you filmed so far?
You're my second full hour.
Oh, okay.
I need like 10 full hours.
I was going to say, if I see like 5 or 10 and then it starts getting up there, I'm like,
I'll just show up one day and it'll be
just
different.
A whole different color scheme.
Which I'm game.
All right.
I'm game for. Well, Juan Franco, you're awesome. Your art is awesome. I don't want you to go to jail, but I want you to somehow feel like you can create and keep going, you know?
For sure.
And I want to see what's in this black book.
All right.
You know what I mean? I want to see that stuff. So thank you so much for talking to me. I think there's a lot of good stuff, you know, in terms of like the idea. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know about this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you think graffiti, you're seeing letters, you're seeing shapes or whatever. You're just seeing that. You're like, oh, that's cool. Someone painted that. But you're like, someone probably painted that at 2:30 in the morning, stressing out, you know, potentially went to jail for that,
or
for that work.
Woke up at 6 to go to work.
Right after. Yeah.
You know, and just did that 4 days out the week.
Yeah.
You know, but
not speaking from experience or
no,
anything.
not at all.
Yeah.
But before we do go, you were touching on inspiring artists. I did want to say, I think for me, my artistic ability developed more when I decided like I want to be able to draw out or paint out the ideas I have in my head. Okay. So I would like to, before I go, tell the viewers like it doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a time frame right now where everyone's supportive of whatever it is you want to do. So you know, appreciate that, and just it doesn't matter if you're not at that level. Just put in that work, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
and,
go for it.
And that's when you get the recognition that you deserve. You know, like pushing through it.
Let's go, dude. Words of the wise.
Thank you,
ladies and gentlemen. Juan Franco. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love the clap.
Yeah, the applause, baby.